started small. Nameless people that no one would miss. Dead. Discarded. Their throats torn open. The church ignored the killings. Even as fear mounted like the bodies. The desperate and the brave fought to end the corruption. But they were too late. It changed them. Killed them. Brought them back. Hungry. I have fought this plague a long time. We need something different. A survivor with all of their strengths and none of our weaknesses. Someone unexpected. And they'll never see you coming. Track them. Hunt them. Kill them. In the realm of darkness, we are the beacon of light. Let our stakes pierce through the hearts of the damned. For tonight, we hunt.
Hey all, it's Drac here. We're going to talk about some Diablo 4 today. We had the first of 2 developer live streams for Diablo 4 Season 2. But you know, it's technically the second one's called the Campfire, but we're gonna go over what happened today and go through my thoughts on things. So the first thing we're gonna go over is experience. This is a problem, in my opinion. This can be a problem in any type of RPG game. It doesn't matter if it's an ARPG like Diablo or Path of Exile or Last Epoch, or if it's just some sort of other RPG or shooter like Warframe and Borderlands and etc. etc. But they're going to do some pretty interesting things. They're going to try to make leveling to get to 100 from 50 about 40% faster, which means there's going to be a big experience buff. So this means that we're going to start feeling like we're more powerful than enemies. They're actually going to make it so that enemies match your current level, but you'll be able to, you know, slap them around a bit more than currently. That is actually a lot of players' biggest complaint with Diablo, because it's supposed to match that whole I'm more powerful than you, sit down and shut up type fantasy. And I find that incredibly interesting. Now, something else that's going on is technically another part of leveling, is the Nightmare Dungeons. They are going to do a bunch of stuff to this. They're going to... It looks like they're going to increase the drop rate. They've removed some objectives, so some dungeons will now just have a boss rush. That's it. You can just go from the entrance and rush the boss and say, screw you, you're dead. They're also dealing with updating some Nightmare Dungeon affixes and afflictions so that they're not so painful. They're also redesigning, sounds up like a bunch of the dungeons so that they are kind of mapped a bit different, and they're going to bump up the Paragon Glyph XP. I, for one, think the Paragon Glyph XP was way too low and way too slow. I don't think I've ever gotten a glyph very past 10, or at least very far past 10. They're also going to, another part of dungeons is they're also going to increase the dura durability, life pool, whatever you want to call it, of NPCs that are part of dungeon events. Um, they're also going to make, now moving on to one of the biggest complaints, well, at least one of the more common complaints in that I hear in Diablo, items, storage, gems. So they're going to make it so gems are now gem shards, and they go into a your material bag, like crafting materials in Last Epoch. Um and then they're also going to make it so that in World Tier 3, any non-sacred items will just be dropped as crafting resources, and in 4, non-ancestrals will just be crafting resources. They're also going to make it so that the items that drop now more keep up with your actual character level, and they're a buff, not a not just something you look at and you just go, ooh, I want to barf, this is terrible. They're also adding filters to the storage space. I'm not 100% sure if they're also adding the extra stash tab that they were saying, but you know, in my opinion, they really didn't do stashes properly. It was asked if we were going to get a wardrobe function similar to the one in Diablo 3, where it would hold multiple loadouts and you could at a click of the button swap out your stuff, which would be your paragon, your skill tree, and whatever gear you are wearing for that. There's gonna be some other UI improvements and stuff. And they're updating some of the mount stuff. Not it was stuff that people were complaining about, but it didn't really bother me much. Uh, the thing is they're also going to do some upgrades into what renown transfers. I got the feeling that they were saying that if you got tier 5 renown in a region, that it would transfer to your seasonal characters now, but not sure. Though this time with the transfer, you won't have to log in to a character to make a transfer, which is going to be nice. They're reducing timers for the world boss spawns, well, the time in between spawns. They're also increasing gold experience from different activities. It's going to be the Helltide chests, the Grim Favors, and completing Whispers. They were going to, it looks like they're going to actually mess with Whispers just a bit, but not in the point where it's terrible and they're screwing it over. They're upgrading things like making it stick more to what it says you're gonna get, making it have more gold in it when you open it, and stuff like that. Uh, Also, Nightmare Dungeon sigils are gonna start dropping around the level of the highest one you've completed. So if you've completed a tier 10, you'll get roughly around a tier 10 or so from doing things like whisper caches. One of the biggest things that I like and that other people seem to be potentially clamoring around is there going to be 5 new end game bosses, and these bosses will be used for target farming uniques, and they made it sound like they're going to add new uniques that would be specific to certain bosses. They're also adding some interesting little cosmetics that can only drop from these bosses, including these weapons, uh, a horse, different things. It'll be really interesting to see where this goes. It looks like a lot of things that are happening are interesting people, and people are going from Diablo is dead, 4 is dead, Diablo 4 is screwed, to this looks like it could actually revive the game and it will be so much better. I plan on doing at least a bit in season 2. The catch is the day after season 2 launches is when the newest update for Warframe also launches, the Abyss of Dagoth. And I am very eagerly looking towards that because of the things it's going to bring with it. But that isn't something we're talking about here. So, I going to do another video like this next week when the showcase drops, and it'll be very interesting to see because the showcase is supposed to show off the class buffs, nerfs, changes, stuff like that, as well as how they're supposed to be updating resistances, because people just feel like resistances don't matter right now. And, I don't know. I haven't played with things enough that I could say one way or another. And I'm not the biggest damage tester. It's just whatever feels good, feels good. Is it dead? Yes. Am I alive? Yes. Let's go. But that is all we have for today. So I hope everyone enjoyed, and I hope to see you again.